Welcome to the Lead Her Radio Show, where up is in and women are on the rise. Featuring your host, Kim Boudreaux-Smith, business consultant and strategist, speaker, and international best-selling author. Kim supports women entrepreneurs in becoming top producers in their business. Kim's guests will be sharing business strategies and how to overcome obstacles and achieve true success. And now, here's your host, Kim Boudreaux-Smith.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Monday Night Bold Mindful Mondays. I've got a really special person waiting in the green room. Sit tight everybody, I'll be bringing her out shortly. And it's so funny because I say that every week. I have a very special guest. I laugh at myself every week when I say that because I'm biased. All my guests are special. Anyways, welcome. Again, I cannot believe we're here another week. Time flies. So I'm going to go over a few things before we move forward here. This is the week. We are in the final countdown for this Friday, December 20th, where Bold is Beautiful will hit the bookshelves, I guess we could say. The virtual bookshelves. The book will be available. I'm so excited. I've compiled this book. There's 27 women in there, and I cannot wait to introduce the whole world to these women. They're just amazing. They're so bold and amazingly beautiful inside and out. Their chapters are amazing. So keep your eyes open. On social media, and also to the website for the book is www.bold-is-beautiful.com. You can go on there and pre-meet the authors, but just mark your calendars, please, for December 20th. It is a launch this Friday, and we are going to drive this up to a bestseller. So that will be my fourth international published best-selling book this year. I have a lot of newbies, if you will, first-timers becoming international published authors with that best-selling title with them. And these women are really excited, and I'm really proud and honored of these women. When they press that send button with their chapters, they really peeled back and opened up wide, knowing that the world is going to be reading their chapters in this book. And I'm just so excited. I just cannot wait to introduce you to them all. Let me see. There's that. We are broadcasting live tonight from the Bold radio station, and that is at www.boldradiostation.com. You can listen live to this interview that is going to take place here very, very, very shortly. And also, I am the proprietor of the radio station. This is just one of my shows that I have. And if you're interested in ever hosting your very own radio show, get on that website there and please connect, reach out to me. This is a full-on, done-for-you radio station, and for you to host your radio shows. No worries, no stress. Just show up and interview your guests and have a blast. But enough being said on me. I want to take this time. I love just introducing women and presenting them to the world. So let's get started so I can introduce this next woman who is waiting very patiently for me to bring her on. So without much further ado, Kirsten E. Ross, who is also a friend of mine, is a CEO of Focus Forward, a leading coaching and culture correction firm. Her education and experience includes a master's degree in human resource management, senior human resource certification, the Coach Training Alliance curriculum, and more than 20 years of hands-on human resource experience working with leaders and teams. She brings a unique blend of energy, insight, and compassion to her work with clients. Her business takes her into organizations, transforming teams, while her mission brings her into the lives of single moms, where she helps them fill their homes with love, joy, and laughter. And we will hear a lot about that. Kirsten was a single mom for 8 years and is the author of the books Defeat the Drama and From People Problems to Productivity, and has been featured as an expert for media such as NBC Nightly News, Fox 2 News, National Public Radio, and for publications such as Entrepreneur Magazine, Working Mother Magazine, and Fitness Magazine. So, without further ado, would you all please welcome Kirsten? Hello. I have a very friendly audience, if you haven't noticed.
I see that. Or, well, I should say I hear that. Well, it's great to be on. I'm super excited for us to chat.
Yes. I can't. Well, you and I, we just had lunch a couple of weeks ago, and we're just going to pick up right where we left off.
Right. Well, we might need to bring people up to speed a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. You're right. So, Kirsten, here's what I would love for you to begin. You were a single mom for 8 years. Share with the listeners what you were doing prior to those 8 years. Were you working? Were you in that human resource background? Share what you were doing and how you took the step into your own business.
Okay. Well, so my background's human resources. I got my master's, did all my schooling years and years ago. I don't like to calculate it out, but I worked in the field of human resources for 10 years. And then I became a stay-at-home mom for a period. Of course, I always had a business going because I have that entrepreneurial spirit that can't go away. So I actually had a website called Women's Work while I was a stay-at-home mom to help women find professional, flexible work. And but anyway, so I always worked while I was a stay-at-home mom and kind of kept going with all my human resource stuff. But, unfortunately, while I was a stay-at-home mom, my marriage became more and more abusive, and I realized that I was going to have to figure out something to do to create a plan to get out. And I started going through just kind of analyzing and talking to a few close colleagues, what do you see in me, and really looking at what my passions were and my gifts. And out of that came coaching. So it was really a blend of my innate abilities and my education and experience in human resources. So I launched Focus Forward to exit my abusive marriage. So it's probably not the most normal time to start a business, but that's what I did. I just had this vision for creating just a stable, loving for my boys, and I had this entrepreneurial spirit that I really wanted to feed, and I thought that would give me the opportunity to find some balance. I knew that I was going to need to heal, they were going to need to heal, and so I launched my business. And initially it was just doing coaching, leadership coaching, so inside of businesses, and then as they healed and I healed and they got a little older, I expanded my business, so I'm on the road more. And but anyway, that's how it launched. It was really I launched it in the fall in October, and by the very next February, so just a few months later, I was able to file for divorce and be on my merry way.
Well, okay. First of all, there's a lot what you just shared there. So let's back up here for a minute, because I'm so glad you opened up with that, because that's a whole arena I did want to talk about with you tonight. And I know a lot, because again, you and I are more than just colleagues, we're friends too. So come back. Your first website, was it a blog site or website? Women's Work.
It was called Women's Work, Women's-Work.
Okay.
It's not pretty. It's old. It's still up, but I don't do anything with it anymore. But yeah, it was a job site, and also just a ton of information about working flexible jobs, and also a job share partner match. So I wrote a lot of articles and helped women. I used to have a job board that had thousands of part-time and flexible work jobs. But it was a little before my time. So and it was a little hard to keep a business going when I wasn't really able to do much in that marriage, kind of.
So that was your first step leading you towards, am I right, Kirsten? That was your first step leading you towards your current business now?
Kind of. I mean, I looked at it as what I did in the interim. It was something I could do very flexible while I was home with my kids. I mean, I literally, could be nursing a baby and typing with one hand,
Right,
right. So, yeah. yeah. But it wasn't something that I could do and support us, and so I needed to definitely do more to be able to get out of that marriage.
Yeah. So take that bridge. Now, let's go to that bridge. When you realized that your marriage was falling apart, you're a mom, you've got these two awesome boys, and you're realizing the marriage is falling apart. And so you need to start ramping it up as you were planning to depart and leave the marriage. Where were your next steps as far as your business goes? And then let's go into the what inspired you to actually take those steps, your support.
Okay. So, initial steps for the business, again, I spoke to a few close kind of trusted advisor kind of people in my life, and they recommended coaching, which at that point, this was years ago. So, like 9-10 years ago when I was exploring it, and, coaching wasn't as popular then. And so I didn't even know what it was. So when I looked on the internet, it was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this accidentally my whole life. So next steps were I found a course that I could take that through Coach Training Alliance. I did a self-study. That's what worked for me. I came up with the name. I created the website. I read a lot of books like Coactive Coaching. I took on a couple of kind of experimental guinea pig clients, and and got those huge like, oh my gosh, I can do this moments. And because they were having huge breakthroughs, and it just felt so good. And when you're doing you're using your gift, your heart just zings. And so even when I was in this like really, really, really difficult time in my life, my heart was still able to zing around my work. And and then to actually launch the business, I really just got in contact with a couple of former work colleagues that I had lost touch with a bit while I'd been at home, and kind of filled them in on my next endeavor. And, one thing led to another. The beauty of networking, right?
Yes.
So that's how I launched my business.
That's awesome. Now, you were married. You were still married when you launched your business, right?
Yes.
Did your husband have any idea at that time what your game plans were?
I would have been, yeah, he knew. I don't know that he, totally knew. It had been so many years that he had, kept that little glimmer of hope alive in me with his false promises that he probably didn't realize that I'd finally reached the end of my rope, that the glimmers of hope and the false promises weren't going to hold me there any longer.
Yeah.
So, he probably was in somewhat a bit of denial, but we had certainly we had gone down every avenue to try to work on, well, I had anyway, as much as I could try to save it. So, it wouldn't have been new news, no, when I finally filed, but I think he was shocked that I actually went through with it. But he kind of knew that I was starting a business and all of that, but, by that point, he really wasn't paying much attention to me.
Kirsten, you've got this leadership. You've got your current business now, which is the Focus Forward leadership. I love the culture correction firm. I love those words, the culture correction. That was really I was reading that before we got on, and I'm like, wow, those are some pretty cool words. You have that, and then you also have your mission brings you into the lives of single moms. Imagine that, even though you've remarried and you're onto you guys have created another life, but you were a single mom at one time where you help. I love this, where you help single moms fill their homes with love, joy, and laughter. And this is where I get to say. No, I've known you for a while, and I said this to you at lunch when we met a couple weeks ago. I see the leadership in you, of course, from your beautiful, extensive background with the human resource management and, all those steps with the coaching and stuff. But when you talk about the single moms, I just, we're on a radio, so everyone, of course, cannot see your face. And so I'm hoping they can hear in your voice, like I get to experience. When you talk about those single moms, that for me personally, in my opinion, can be very biased. I don't care. That's your Dorothy Red Ruby slippers clicking your heels and going, there is no place like home. And you talk about the work. So share with everybody a little bit about the reason why your marriage was falling apart, why you decided to depart out of that. You lined your ducks up in a row, which still doesn't make it any easier, and why you departed, and what's really drawing you to single moms.
Well, as I exited my marriage, by that point, I was really doing most of the things in the house. I was taking care of the kids, and I really thought, yes, there were fears, and I knew, the weight of everything was going to be on my shoulders, and I was anticipating, as much as you can anticipate such a huge transition in your life, what it would be like. But what I did not anticipate was what that weight would feel like, and how, very few of us land into single motherhood without going through some kind of trauma. Okay?
Yes.
Even women who go and adopt and know that they're single while they're adopting probably had a different life plan. So we're all kind of in our plan B. And so while you're trying to go through whatever you need to go through to get through the healing from that trauma, you're trying to get your sea legs in this whole new life. Many of your friendships are transitioning. You kind of like the ex gets some of the friends. Family might be with you or not. Support can be limited, and everyone's experience is different. But and the one thing that I really didn't anticipate too is the isolation. So you're trying to get your sea legs. You're going through stuff where you probably need healing, and the weight of everything is now on you. And where are all the other single moms? How do you find each other when you're all hunkered down?
Yep.
And it's really it's a different way of parenting. You have guilt, you have fear, you feel not good enough. You have society's perceptions of you are just suddenly shift. I was a 100% family-centered woman who never made the transition to what society feels a single mom life is like. I'm not sure what exactly that is, but I wasn't doing a lot of whooping and, whooping it up, I was literally just hunkered down, having white knuckle moments as I started my business. And so anyway, and I just know that that's what many, many single moms are going through. And while I was a single mom for those years, I developed strategies to help me still create the vision of the home that I wanted for myself and my boys. And that was that I created that the minute that he moved out. We are filling our house with love, joy, and laughter. And I told my boys that all the time. And, you have to recalibrate expectations. And there's just so much that you need to do to get the right mindset so you're not beating yourself up all the time and dealing with society's perceptions and all that. But as you can tell, I could go on and on and on, but I will stop here if you'd like to ask me a question.
No, you're so funny. Please, you don't need to do that. You can keep going on, but you said something right here and now is that you told the boys, I'm going to the home, with the love and the joy and the laughter, all that, and it's and it's that mindset. But I that's one of my favorite things is mindset, and I don't think we can ever talk enough about mindset. But more so with that mindset is where do these single moms go, especially the single moms that are coming out of some form of abusive type relationships where they are literally beaten down, not necessarily maybe just physically, but mentally and emotionally. And then you're looking at these kids and like you said, you're white knuckle gripping because you're stepping into your business. It's like that mindset. If you don't have support around you, that mindset, I call her the hag in the attic, can eat you up alive.
Yep, that's right. And if you've which many women have, if you're coming out of an abusive relationship too, where you've been beaten down for years, and generally no one else is hearing that. So who's going to build you back up? You need people around you, and and I'm a very faith-based person, so God absolutely was a part of my healing, and so lots of prayer, and my faith built and built and built during those single mom years. I will say that is one of the gifts that I got out of that time was, a stronger relationship with God, because really, he was my main dude,
I like that, your main dude.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Spent a lot of time with him.
So what are you doing? I know with your I call it credentials and credentials. You have both. You have the credentials of the masters and stuff, but you also have the credentials. The credentials are the life experiences that we go
I like
through.
that.
Isn't that neat? Yeah, that's how I explain it because I hear so many women. I just heard just recently that organization Reaching Higher that I co-facilitate with. One of my mentors got invited to be on the board, and she went to her first board meeting. She was looking at all these people going, and I saw her. She goes, "Oh my God, this one's a lawyer. This one's this one's this." She goes, "Oh my God, why am I there?" She goes, "It kind of played on my kind of played a little bit," and I'm like, "Oh, you might not have a law degree, but you've got the credentials." And she looked. I had to explain it to her. It's the life experiences, but
yeah, I like that.
you're being called. I mean, not just called, they're literally knocking on your door, these single moms. Sure, you know what? Please take it away. Just share with everybody, what you went through and where these women are at and what they can do because I know some of these women are stepping out of a relationship. They have to get out. They just have to get out. And they haven't worked in several years. They were stay-at-home moms. And now, talk about a whole dynamic going on, change.
Right. And all of a sudden you're making all the decisions for your children and you, and there's not anyone else with skin in the game who's helping you. And I'm telling you, that's a big, and again, that was one of those unanticipated things. When you have a spouse and you're talking through things and making decisions together, there's another adult with you that, and when you're single, you're making those decisions on your own. So, the single moms, and it is cool. God's bringing single moms in all kinds of different ways into my life and blended families. And I keep going on what I think are going to be networking breakfasts. And all of a sudden, people are saying, I know you were single. Can you just share with me, and if you're not comfortable. And I'm like, oh, please, I'm an open book. Like, let's go. So, it's one, I talked about calibrating expectations. So, and that's all about mindset. So my little mindset thing, one of the examples I'll give for myself that I had to do was my blue sparkly pool. So I have a pool, and I did keep my house when I got divorced, and I bought it. I had to buy it. No one gave it to me. But when I was married and living here and didn't have the weight of everything, my pool was blue and sparkly all the time. And I took pride in my blue sparkly pool, and I loved my blue sparkly pool. And you know what? When I was a single mom, I couldn't do it. I could not maintain it. It would go green on me, or it just wasn't, it wasn't blue sparkly. It was swimmable, but, it just wasn't as nice as it used to be. And, and I started feeling sad and frustrated and just kind of all those yucky kinds of feelings. And I had to stop myself. Because the truth is, we spend most of our lives in the gap between our expectations and our experiences. What we want our life to be, what we think it should be, what we wish it would be, and what it really is. And the truth was that I didn't have the time any longer to keep it blue sparkly all the time. And so I had to recalibrate the expectation of myself that it just had to be good enough. And there were many things in my life that just had to be good enough, and good enough had to be good enough. And the laundry, it might not get put away. It hardly ever got put away, honestly. If it was clean, hey, win-win, so again, I could beat myself up about some of those things, or I could just recalibrate my expectations and say good enough just has to be good enough. So that's one of the things I share with moms, like, create realistic expectations for yourself. Don't beat yourself up about things that just don't matter. And again, if you focus on your eye on the prize, what's the prize? And for me, it was the love, joy, laughter in my house. If I had tried to maintain a house and put more emphasis on the laundry being folded perfectly and put away, I would have been frustrated all the time. And there wouldn't have been as much love, joy, and laughter in a frustrated house as in pursuit of something that I couldn't achieve. So I was very intentional about where my focus went. Same with meals. So, like, I share like kind of wisdom things like that, like mindset kinds of things, and then just practical kinds of things around discipline, around meals. Another one, set realistic expectations. During the school year, you're doing homework and making dinner. Make the goal be to sit down with a healthy meal together. Again, you're experiencing love, joy, and laughter at the table in healthy, simple meals. And so I have all these recipes. So one, you have to create the mindset first. So someone's not beating themselves up because they're not putting a fancy meal on the table. So calibrate it realistically. Now, some women love to cook and that's going to be their outlet and they're going to figure out a way and that's awesome. But, you know, a lot of the single moms I work with are really struggling with trying to find the time. And so, and the money, you know, to have, you know,
Yes.
great fancy meals. So I have all these recipes that are inexpensive, super quick, healthy, that you can just get the homework done, get these things done, or make them up ahead, and then sit down and again, not be frustrated, but create that love, joy, and laughter because everyone's relaxed, you know. Or make sure. See, I'm like a time freak. Like I don't like to be late, and so for me, it was worth it. I know you're super tired in the morning, but making sure that you get up with enough time to get everybody where they need to get in the morning instead of rushing, and starting your day off like that. So it's, you know, it's dating stuff. There's, you know, just lots of different practical and mindset things. It's kind of, I blend my innate abilities with my coaching, my God-given talents of coaching with the practical stuff that I picked up to create a life for myself and my boys. And, so often, you know, I'll meet with someone and, you know, and a lot of times they're in counseling and I'll meet with them and they're like, the counseling's doing great. But like they're like, oh, I'm just so sick of talking about it. But what I'm doing is getting them in action. Like here's some action steps to take over the next 5 days, you know. And they leave with a list and they feel so good. And so it's just, you know, and trying to help them meet each other so that they're building a community. You know, you need to know some other single moms because, you know, it's just different when you're around married people once you're a single mom. So they need to find each other, and then it's just beautiful, like the community that just is created organically. You know, they begin exchanging babysitting for each other and bringing meals to each other when they're sick and picking up kids and, you know, and doing life together. They, you know, going to the cider mill together. You know, the whole time I was a single mom, I would drop my kids off at church, you know, in their classrooms, and then I would sit by myself in church. And so get in that community so you can sit together. And so
it is a community that is very very sparse.
Yes, there's a lot of us. Well, I'm not an us anymore. I am remarried now, but there are a lot of single moms. But you can't. I mean, I now know that when I was in church, I was in a sea of about 40% of the people I was with that, you know, unbeknownst to me, were single parents. But you don't. It's not like you're wearing a label. So it just feels like everybody's married, but they're not. You know, and when you're going around life, you're probably around all kinds of single parents, but you just can't find each other. And I tried. I mean, you know, but Google search it and you come up with some weird stuff that was not at all going to help me.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. You know, I love your blue sparkly pool. Even that, I love the metaphor to the blue sparkly pool, even though it was literally happening. And you know, with that blue sparkly pool, that's a great analogy and a metaphor because a lot of times it's letting go of that perfectionism and going, look, I'm doing the best that I can, and so darn what the clothes are not. Oh my gosh, I'm so guilty of this, and I don't even have kids. I get to close my laundry room door, and it's like, oh God, 5 days later, that load of laundry is still. I just don't like to fold clothes, but I mean, so what if the load of laundry is not closed? Because I'll tell you, the bottom line is, I love this, the love, joy, laughter at dinner time. At dinner time, that connection, because everybody knows that their kids grow up and they start being teenagers and they don't want to hang with the parents that much, and you've got to really take that LJL, the love, joy, laughter, when you can. And you know, it's like I need to get my hands on some of those recipes because I'm not a lavish cook and I like things quick, simple, inexpensive, and healthy.
I'll do it. I'll share them with you.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
are
I could
great
always
ones. Yeah.
really quick.
So go ahead.
No, I just, Kirsten, it's just, it all comes down to, I call it the estrogen guilt, and let it
Yeah.
go, because when you go from having a partner to, like, making the decisions by yourself, and you now are possibly going back to work if you weren't working before, and all that, and everyone's going through a healing phase, because bottom line, a divorce is divorce, not even to mention if it was a really sticky situation prior to that divorce.
Right.
There's so many dynamics going on there.
Yeah. It's just so much, and they just need, it's just, helping them set healthy boundaries and those realistic expectations. And, because the reality is, back to the laundry or the blue sparkly pool, you can beat yourself up and have a green pool, or you can release and allow the green pool.
Yeah.
Like either way, you have a green pool. So you can waste energy on beating yourself up, which, does nothing for you.
Right.
Or you can just accept what's so. And it really is a lot about accepting what's so. And what's in your control and what's not. So much becomes out of your control, even stuff with your kids. And that's a very different dynamic, usually than what you're experiencing when you're married, because you're under the same roof. And so, now all of a sudden you've probably got kids going and having parenting time with the other parent. And so stuff that happens there is out of your control, and there is going to be stuff that you don't like. So you can be mad about the stuff that you don't like, or you can just let go of the stuff that you don't like, as long as they're not in danger and all of that. And, but it's a lot of just letting go. And I was always very intentional. You can't create any more hours in the day, but you can create more energy. And they are absolutely energy sucking mindsets and behaviors that you want to stay away from. So do everything in your power to keep generating energy. And that beating yourself up sucks energy. And that being frustrated about things out of your control depletes your energy. So as much as you can focus on creating that wonderful environment, enjoying your kids. I still remember, as soon as my ex moved out, the very first thing one of my boys said was, "Mom, can we put a welcome sign outside of our house and start having people over again?"
Wow.
And guess how quick I got that welcome sign? And I didn't just get a welcome mat. No. I got a nice big iron, beautiful, to sit next to the front porch. It had birds and everything. Welcome. And because I wanted to open our home back up and, again, just fill it with that great energy.
That's huge when you have one of your kids coming to you and saying, "Can we put a welcome sign out like that," or whatever else one of the kids are presenting. It's like, get to that store, scrape up that dollar, go to the dollar store, whatever you got to do.
Yeah, and I did. I got it at Big Lots or something.
Yes.
One of those. Yeah, I think it was Big Lots. I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Just go to
exactly.
one of those discount stores and do what you got to do, because when the kids are saying that, it has got to be done. So, I was just listening to what you were saying, what you were just saying, with the working with the moms and stuff like that. And I'm sure a lot of that has got to apply to the leaders that you work with as well.
Yes, definitely.
The letting go, all of the stuff of the letting go, and not the controlling, and getting more into the managerial as the leaders of what we all are. I'm biased. My opinion's biased there. Everybody's a leader. We're not born like this. It's a learned behavior, and everybody is a leader. Everybody has some form of leadership in them.
Yeah, I agree.
So what are some of the things that when you're working with your clients, coming away from the single moms, because you've got both here, come back into the other part there. What are some of the things that you are moving through, if you will, with your clients? Give an example of, Because if someone's sitting out there that is in upper management and going, oh my God, these two women, they really know what they're talking about? Or, oh my God, these two women are amazing. Give an example so we can go ding, and that person goes, oh my gosh, that's me.
Yeah, well, a lot of my clients, when they start working with me, they come to me because they say, ah, man, I just can't get my team to do what I need them to do. And it's either they should just know what I need them to do, or it's I keep trying to make changes and they change it for like a week and then everything reverts back, or I get attitude. So it's really about leaders having a vision. Very often I'm working in family owned businesses. Usually it's by the second generation that they're bringing me in, or it's an entrepreneur who has this, or it might be people working in mission work, or, but they have this big vision of something they want to make happen with their business or their mission work, and they can't make it happen, and it takes people to make it happen. And so they're frustrated because, their people aren't coordinated extensions of themselves, and that's really what they need. So I help them, so they become kind of victims in their own business. So I empower them in their business. I help them take back the reins. So for instance, let's see let's talk about, okay, this is from the healthcare world, and it was actually a chiropractor, and he was like ready to shut up shop. He was like, I just can't take it anymore. I'm just sick of everybody. And I got talking with him, and his business was down monthly. A significant amount of money he was losing monthly. And his team, he just couldn't get them to do what he needed them to do. Well, he was hiding from them instead of dealing with it. So the first thing I got him doing is creating clear expectations for his team. This is what's expected of you. And then he needed consequences. So I got him a progressive discipline process. And these are the consequences that are going to happen if you don't do what I need you to do. And he got them excited about the fact that, people were coming in to be healed. So you want to get them fired up from the heart too. I mean, that's really where you want to start. You need people who are excited about what you're trying to make happen in the world. So he got them excited. Then he set clear expectations so they each knew their specific role in the organization. And then, so things were going better. He's like, yeah, they're starting to do what I need them to do, and things are running more smoothly. But he was still losing money. And then he started talking to me about this massage therapist that he had, who was only doing like 2 or 3 massages a week and really wasn't that motivated to do any more than that. And I said, you're losing out revenue, because like that's real estate that you're paying for, whether it's being utilized or not. And we did the calculations, and sure enough, because she should have been doing around 20 massages a week. Sure enough, that was the loss in revenue. It was that he was allowing this massage person to pick her hours instead of him saying, like, this is what's expected for the position. So when he told her that she was going to have to do more, she quit, which was great. Self-selecting out is way better than having to terminate someone. And so she decided she didn't want to do that. And we brought in a new massage therapist who wanted to do more massages, and the revenue was back up. The team was working well, and life was really good. I find especially in healthcare, there's a lot of fear and guilt around holding people accountable. And so I had to help him get through that. Mm-hmm. And once he got through that and realized that by setting high expectations, you're actually giving someone the opportunity to feel success and achieve more, achieve excellence. It's really a gift that you give someone. Sometimes, you end up with a team of people around you who are just kind of getting by, and they're missing out on that chance to experience that exhilaration of really doing a lot. And so anyway, and I do think people do, at their core, they do want to do a good job. So very often when you set the bar high, people will hit it, and then they'll experience that. So that's one quick example. There's others, like working with family businesses, where you have those additional dynamics. You've got the workplace dynamics, and then you have the father son, father daughter, sister brother dynamics going on top of it. So there's all kinds of fun stuff going on there. And ultimately, it's really all about communication. So I'll just help them figure out where they have snafus in their communication, how they're not using tenacious language, how they're talking around what they really need. I help people bust through people pleasing. I mean, even in the business world, there's a ton of that,
Yes.
where they're just trying to make everybody happy. And really, that's controlling, actually. People don't realize that, but you're trying to control. You feel uncomfortable if other people are not happy, so you're trying to control their mood so that you can feel good.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so I help a lot with trying to bust through that stuff. And, assertive communication is just an awesome place to help people live. So, but it's really, again, clear expectations, holding people accountable, good sound processes that people get to participate in creating, and making sure everyone's using them well, and addressing your people problems if you have them. You have to be a good steward of your gifts, and a good steward to the needs of your customers. And if you don't have good business practices, you don't get to stay in business. So don't let your employees who don't want to be there win. Let your customers win, and address those people problems, and move people out if they won't make the right choices.
Yeah, absolutely. You just summed that one up in a nutshell. And when you were talking a lot about that, I could also hear the similarities that you do with these single moms, setting up, the expectations, and it's something it could be simple to some of us, and very challenging to others, is just setting up something as simple as a grocery list.
Yeah.
When you're in the midst of going through a major life change, going grocery shopping can be very difficult, and it's just setting up those clear expectations with those single moms, and and helping them raise the high expectations for themselves.
Yeah. It's, just having a single mom over and helping her kids with their homework and making her dinner. You wouldn't believe what a gift that is, because just getting a break, and getting a moment for her to just sit back and put her feet up for a minute,
yes,
and let someone else take care of something is such a huge gift.
That's by the way, that was a golden nugget, everybody, is if you know of anybody that is going through a divorce, you have a very dear friend who is soon to become a single mom and looking at kids and taking on all that responsibility, just sometimes having them over and cooking dinner while they could just sit there and do some homework with the kids and put their feet up and just relax and not have to worry about all that stuff. That's a huge unspoken gift you can give someone. And let's not just do this at Christmas time, because it's the time of the year to give. Can we possibly look at the other 11 months of the year?
Yeah. The other thing, like if a single mom's child is sick and she has 2 children, she doesn't have a way to get out and get the Vernors or the saltine crackers. Yep. She needs someone to bring stuff to her, because you're a team now. One person's leaving the house, you're all going. Yep. And so even little things like that, it's amazing how, what a blessing that can be to someone. Or if she's sick, oh my goodness.
Yeah, though it's those huge, they're small but huge but small random acts of kindness. It's I'm not a mom, but I can certainly step into a single mom's shoes for a few minutes and go, oh, wait a minute, she's sick, she's got the kids. Wow, hang on, let me step in. Let me come over. Let me drop off something. And I'm not even a mom, but to slow down everybody and come out of thinking about how busy our schedules are, because busy is as common as a hachoo sneeze. Just say busy.
Yeah.
And just to step out of yourselves and just think of somebody else for a moment or 2 or 3 or 4 and do that random act of kindness. Kirsten, I know you do that a lot with these single moms. Did you not start a program or support a program through I'm not quite sure we can even mention. I don't know why we can't mention the organization.
Let's not.
Okay.
Right now.
Right. Yep, that's fine. Weren't you very influential in starting something for single moms?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
How did you fall into that? How did you step into that?
Actually, it was It was 5 years ago. One of the people who started our church, I had gotten to know them while my son was in the Christmas service, and I go to a very large church, and so I got to know his family during the process of preparing for the Christmas services, and they ended up having us over for dinner shortly after, and they asked a lot about my story and my business and all that kind of stuff. And he was really the first one who planted the seed of, wow, you know what, with what you've been through and what you've achieved and how well your boys are doing, I think that you could really help a lot of other single moms. You know, it was something that was like in my heart, but it was like this unspoken thing. And he was kind of the first one who kind of spoke it, you know, put it out in the world. And that was 5 years ago. You know, but actually, when I look back, even before I had kids, when I was in my 20s and I was just single and working, I used to every year, I don't talk about this, but I used to go and adopt single mom families by myself, and just do that. So it's like I had the single mom thing. I had that heart for single moms even in my 20s, way before, you know, years before I was a single mom. But anyway, so it's kind of always been in me. So, but anyway, that, you know, him talking about that really sparked it, and it had been a desire in my heart for a long time, and just you know, it was kind of towards the end of my single mom time. I just started, you know, just having conversations with single moms and being around a lot of single moms, and so yeah, just kind of happened.
This is your true calling. I'm just, like I said, I chatted with that at lunch. This is so you. It really is so you. And just with you saying that when you were in your 20s, oh my God, I'm sitting here going, okay, he does work in mysterious ways. I love it. So I know you've somewhat stepped aside a little bit right now. Do you have any plans that you can speak of where you're going to take this platform and enhance it in yourself and in your life? Because I know that these women need you, and I know that they're calling on you, and it's just part of you. So are there any plans?
So, you know, I'm not exactly sure what it looks like going forward, other than, I have a whole bunch of moms kind of circling me, kind of in my life, that I'm just, you know, mentoring kind of individually, but, you know, many of them know each other, and I am working on a book for single moms. It's in the very, very beginning stages, though, but I am going to put, you know, just the stuff that I've used, that I've helped a lot of single moms with over the years. And again, a lot of the tools that I use, the techniques, the strategies to stay sane and stay focused on that prize, I want to put in a book to make it available for more moms. And anytime I write, like even my Defeat the Drama and my From People Problems to Productivity, I always teach a concept, and then there's some sort of exercise to immediately apply it to your life or your work. And I am sure that this single mom book is going to be the same. So it'll be some things to learn, ponder, and then immediately implement. So I have that in the works. That I can say, you know, is happening.
Good.
So,
Good.
Yeah.
Now, do you think you'll have that book completed for 2014?
I'm hoping so.
Good.
I'm hoping so. We'll see. You know, I'm doing lots of webinars and speaking and stuff for my Defeat the Drama book coming up in 2014. So, you know, it's just carving out the time to write and get it done. But that is my plan. It did go on my goals for 2014 is having it done. I don't know that it'll be out, but I want it done and kind of out of my hands, the whole, you know, those last phases, hopefully by the end of 2014.
That would be wonderful. That is awesome. So let's stay here just for a second, because we've got about 10, do you believe this, 10 more minutes left?
Yeah, I had a feeling we could talk.
I know. Time goes by so fast. So come back to your blue sparkly pool, metaphorically, literally, and a golden nugget, because that blue sparkly pool can be applied to your clients that you work with, as well as the single moms. What little golden nugget can you give anybody who's listening right now? The next step, if it's a single mom that just stepped out of a not so good marriage, or if it's like the chiropractor who is like, that's it, I'm quitting, closing the doors, I can't take this anymore, I'm burnt out, this has worn me down. What little kernel can you give them right now to turn and keep going?
One thing I tell, especially kind of business types of clients, is burn the boat. So whatever the alternative is that you're thinking about leaving there as an option as your like way out in case, burn it so that your full energy and tenacity can go where it really needs to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, there was a period in my business, when the economy took that dip and I had those real white knuckle moments of, no safety net and the dip in the business. And I started thinking about going and getting a job. And not that I even know if I could have done that during that downturn in the economy, but I found my energy divided, and I always have people envision a babbling brook. How much power does the water in a little babbling brook have? Not a lot. It's doing something. It's got a little momentum. It's doing something to the rocks and its surroundings, but not much, and it's taken a really long time. Now picture the Hoover Dam or a fire hose, and all you're doing in those instances is harnessing the focused energy of water. And so focus your energy on that one thing. So again, for me, it was the love, joy, and laughter in my house. Mm-hmm. I had to focus all of my energy. Worrying about what happened at his house made me the babbling brook. And I couldn't do that. I didn't have energy to spare. So that's what I would say, like really be intentional about where you focus your energy. And remember, you're doing all that you can to create as much energy as you can by not beating yourself up and all those other things, but focus that energy. Or if you're an entrepreneur, and you're thinking about giving it up, no, have all the tenacity, get the resources that you need to get the help. If you're not setting clear expectations, if you have fear driving you, if you're allowing your team the power to drive your business instead of creating your vision, get a coach or someone, who can help you become an assertive communicator and, make your vision clear to everyone. Do whatever it takes. Be a person who sees the next challenge as just a little bump in the road. It doesn't have to be a stopping point. It's not a stop sign, and it's not a detour sign. It's just a little bump, see it as that little bump and just keep your vision forward.
I love that because those little bumps are obstacles or just another step towards the opportunity, or you can even flip those obstacles into opportunity. And I always like to call, sometimes when things get so bad as an entrepreneur, that's that tsunami. I'm in the middle of it. I know when I'm in the middle of that storm, that shortly that is going to lift. It's going to be huge growth and a major aha is going to come out of it. So, I mean, one of the biggest things that I work with are women business owners, women entrepreneurs, and it's by the time they've reached out for that business consulting, strategy, coaching, whatever you want to put a label to it, is they have so lost help. And if there's anything I can stress here tonight is don't lose hope, but definitely gather yourself around a village of support. And I don't mean the village of support that's going, rolling their eyes and saying, are you crazy to leave that man? You're never going to make it on your own. Or rolling their eyes and going, really? You're going to start a business like that? No, you have to gather yourself up, the support that's going to stand by you, stand behind you, sometimes pull you up out of that muck, and help
you move forward.
Can
I say something about that? Because that is something that I coach because again, especially when you're a people pleaser, you want to try to please everybody and listen to all the comments of everybody. And again, you become the babbling brook, right? Because you're listening and trying to maneuver around everyone else's opinions and feelings. And I always say, people have to earn the privilege to get to speak into your life. And a couple of the key things that they need to have to be one of those trusted advisor people that you give the privilege of that title to is one, that they really have an interest in you 2, they're not trying to push some sort of agenda of their own. 3, and so key, they have to be okay with giving you advice and then releasing and allowing you to make your own choices, and then praising you and encouraging you regardless.
Yep.
So too many times we have those people who are in our lives and want to control and manipulate our choices and have these opinions that aren't helpful towards what we're moving towards. And I say those people don't get that right.
Right. I so agree with you. I so agree. And, what's the expression? We teach this to the kids, or this one program I teach it. It's what you say about me is none of my business, or something, it's just what you say about me is none of my business. And you know what? And what people are saying about me or you or anyone else, it is none of our business. It really is none of our business.
Yep. That's right. That's right.
So, before we wrap this all up, Kirsten, could you let the listeners know how they can get in touch with you?
Sure. So my main website for my business is focusforwardcoaching.com. So that's focusforwardcoaching.com. My email address is KROSS as in Sam at focusforwardcoaching.com. The website, which is really awesome, Pillar Social Media did the website for me for my book, is defeatthedrama.com. And you can check out my book there. There's a video of me talking about the book, and there's also freebies for bulk purchases. And there's a little barter system if you want to barter with me about, numbers of books you'd want to purchase and what you'd want in return for that. So there's some fun stuff on there. So, and then of course I'm on LinkedIn, and Facebook is Drama Free Work. So Facebook, Drama Free Work, and Twitter, I'm Defeat the Drama. So that's probably enough ways to to get in touch with me.
Yes, and the listeners do need to get in touch with you. Just reach out, and I love that bartering system. How much fun is that? I've never heard of that before. That's a lot of fun around your book, and absolutely all the listeners, please reach out to Kirsten and grab a book. I mean, I love that. Defeat the drama. Get rid of the drama.
Step by step.
Yeah, I love that. And you heard Kirsten say earlier that in her books, it's I present this, you ponder, I'm paraphrasing, I present this, you ponder, and then we do. So it's, you ponder and then you do. There's step-by-step action plan. That's one of my biggest things. We get on these radio shows or we go anywhere and we talk about it, but there's no implementation.
Right. You got to do it right away. Yeah. If you have fun in the workshop or whatever, but nothing changes, then nothing changes.
Nothing changes.
And I call them catapult tasks, by the way, because you'll catapult your progress if you do them.
I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you so much for being on the Lead Her Up is in the Bold Mindful Monday show. Kirsten, I so appreciate your time. Again, everybody reach out and just touch base, grab a book, grab one of her books. Again, thanks for being on.
Oh, thanks for having me. It was really fun, and and I'm looking forward to our next lunch. But
yeah, absolutely. And
thanks so much. It was a ton of fun, and please reach out. Seriously, I love chatting with people, helping people. So do reach out.
And by the way, this whole hour is Kirsten is talking and speaking. She has a smile on her face. She's like that all the time. I can hear it. I can hear it and I can tell. And of course I know you, but always like that. So you know what? We'll have to do this again next year when your single mom book right before that launches.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, because that's definitely needed. Everyone, thank you so much for being on tonight. This is Kim Boudreaux Smith. I hope to see you here. Thursday at noon for Bold Biz Tips Thursday, if not again next Monday evening. Next Monday evening will be the last show of the year because we're going into the holiday season. I cannot believe Christmas is next week already. Again, you can get in touch with me at www.kimbsmith.com or at boldradiostation.com. Mark your calendars, everyone, please. This Friday, December 20th, we're going to be asking everyone to go to a link and purchase a book. So these 27 bold yet so beautiful women can become international best-selling authors. So go make it a great week. We hope we could kick off your bold Mindful Monday with a nice little swift loving kick for the week to motivate you and get you going. So have a great week, and everybody take care. We'll see you here next week.